If you want to go to Kenya right now, it's not the right time for you. Like, I want to say this again. If you're planning to come to Kenya, this is not the right time for you, because even the people in Kenya cannot leave Kenya, and it's just wild. Guys, this is a situation that has been going on for I think a week now, where there's this richest company called Adani, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard of it. It's like, it's owned by one of the richest men in the world, after Elon Musk. But then what is going on is there is a deal, a partnership that was made by this specific company with the government, I would say, of Kenya, about the airport of Kenya, the international airport of Kenya. And I mean, we've seen how Kenyans react, but this time it is affecting everybody. You know, when it's happening to, let's say, Kenyans, and it's not involving other foreigners, the media, or, you know, some people don't like tend to put attention. But what is going on right now in Kenya, watch it for yourself.
In East African nation Kenya, Indian businessman Gautam Adani is now a familiar name. His company, Adani Group, has proposed to invest nearly $1.9 billion on Kenya's main airport, JKIA, in exchange for operating it for 30 years. The move has faced widespread resistance. In early January 2023, Adani was the world's third richest person, according to Forbes. His net worth then was nearly $129 billion.
So airlines are rushing to get the flights to leave JKIA before midnight, because at midnight everything shuts down. The staff say they want a total shutdown, and that means even flights cannot land and take off, because members of the Kenya Aviation Workers Union includes air traffic controllers. Just every single aspect of the airport run by Kenya Airport Authority staff will not go on, as they oppose the plan to transfer the operation of the airport to the Indian firm known as Adani.
Imagine we are signing off our airport to be run by a private company, which is going to hold that for 30 years. And after the contract expires, they would keep equity in that arrangement of our airports at the rate of 18%, eternally. How did somebody sign an agreement like that? You see, so the questions that we have got...
Did you, as elected leaders, have wind of whatever arrangements or whatever agreements were going on with the...
Actually, I was the whistleblower. I'm the one who has presented all the documents to the Senate, and I've given it to the media, if you check. It was a whistleblower from France, a young Kenyan boy who has been working in the sovereign fund of some country, saw the document passing through his desk. He forwarded to me, he said, Onyonka, the airport is gone. I don't know what you're going to do. Try your level best. These are the facts. I am scared to death about this Adani thing, because they will have to get their own traffic controllers. They will have to hire the labor that is going to work. You know how most companies from India pay their people. We know the history. You look at the history of Adani. Adani have participated in areas where they try to get their business. They have participated in creating civil disobedience and civil wars in some of the areas in those countries in the Far East because of the business interests which they are fighting. God forbid, that is not what lies behind this transaction is all about. You see, so you have an agreement, you give them 18 years perpetually after they leave after 30 years. You have not told us how much money the airport, the Kenya Airports Authority receives on a yearly basis. They have never had a loss. They have paid their workers. Nobody has ever complained. In fact, using the revenue being generated at the airport on its own was enough for the government to negotiate, to pay for the development or the creation or the construction of a new airport. The contract which has been signed means that all the other airports cannot be refurbished, cannot be changed, cannot be repaired until that airport is built and until Adani has finished operating it in the period of 30 years.
So wait, what?
Yes.
So other airports can't be refurbished?
You can't refurbish, you can't change them.
Why?
Because that's some stupid agreement that somebody went and signed.
But see, I thought they said this whole Adani thing is a lie in the beginning when you guys started talking about it.
That is true, but Lynn, wonderfully, information is power, and the truth always sets us free.
Yeah.
Many people, I can tell you this, The Adani story is the most shocking story because it is bigger than Anglo-leasing. This is part of our national security structure. How do you allow your airport to be managed by foreigners from a country, okay, which is India? Assume that something happened and Kenya decided to go to war with anybody because the radar we use is the radar we have at the airport and the one at the military. Now, the question is, what if you allow this company to run your airport and they're the ones who then are going to get the traffic controllers to manage your radar and all the technical expertise? What if in this war, India was for their antagonists against us? What do you do? I mean, that's why I keep saying, shouldn't there be somebody advising the president better? You see, these are the painful experiences I'm having as a legislator. What is my value if I'm not able to question this? What are my children who are above 20, many of them, what are they going to think about me as their father, and I was a Senate and I was a member of parliament, when literally we got rid of our airport, when literally Adani has been given another contract for them to take 𝗙𝗏. Somebody whispered to me that there's a likelihood that Adani might also be given KenGen. And finally, what Adani wants is to take over the port of Mombasa.
I think Kenyans just, first of all, Kenyans have to understand what is it that the Adani Group is going to provide. Now, I have actually been to Ahmedabad quite a number of times because that's where my husband goes for medical attention. And in Ahmedabad, the Ahmedabad airport has been done by the Adani Group. And the first time I went to Ahmedabad 4 years ago, it was a very mediocre airport. Today, it's one 5-star airport. All right, I've been to estates within Ahmedabad built by the Adani Group. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have in this country and everywhere in the world is that when you have a tender of any sort or a partnership of any sort, and I've been a victim of that with my Adopter Light project, or when you have an idea and you come in to try and get that contract, there are going to be many other people that want that contract. So I think what's important is that the government should come clear. And I mean, that's the reason why you have a government spokesman. Break it down so that people understand everything. So how much money is the Adani Group going to put? Because I'm a parliamentarian, I'm not in the transport committee, and I want answers too. So I want to know how much money is the Adani Group going to put into refurbishing the airport? What are they going to do in terms of the terminals? How are they going to take us?
It's my first TikTok. I'm in Nairobi, Kenya, at the airport, and there is a strike going on. There's no workers, and I'm stuck in the airport. And apparently there's no incoming or outgoing flights. So yeah.
As you've seen the video, that is what is going on, and I really have like less really to say about this, because every time we Africans come out, and let's say me myself, when we come out and say things that concern our countries or things that are concerning the African continent, people tend to say that we are being too much, we want to be political, why are you doing that? You know, you should just support what your leaders are doing because it's helping elevate your countries. And I'm like, oh really? Already, guys, I'm here as a Ugandan, but I don't even know if our national airport also is owned by us. I'm not sure about that. I mean, I was hearing rumors on how it's now under the control of Chinese, because we have like a lot of debts with the Chinese. I mean, we have debts with the Europeans, the Americans, and we still have loans with the Chinese. Like, we are always in constant debts, like African people, African leaders. This is so hilarious in a way. Okay, it's sad and it's bad, but it's just so hilarious. Like, we have these leaders that come and, of course, say the things we want to hear, but the things that they say and the actions they take are completely different things. I've shared a lot of videos of African leaders, how they come and only talk about sex. I constantly talk about that, like sex is the only thing these African leaders can talk about, and they mean it. Because I mean, why would you wake up one day and want to give a deal of a national airport of the country to a person that is not even a citizen to the country? Okay, I understand investments, right? We have to work together with other people in the world. It makes sense. Like I said, we are always intertwined. We can't really separate ourselves economically, financially, socially, or whatsoever. But like, this is a national treasure. This is something that was put up by Kenyan people, for Kenyan people. And you want to now turn around and give this project to a people that don't even respect Kenyans, because this is an Indian man, guys. Yes, I understand he's a businessman. Of course, they go where there's good projects for them to earn more money, and he's a billionaire. We get it. But like, how do Indians treat Kenyans, if we are to put it right? I've shared videos where these people, the Indian people, don't see us as anywhere close to them, even though we are actually the same people. And now the government wants to put a national treasure to the hands of these people, where we know every time they get into business, every time they create something, it's always their people first than any African person. Guys, if you come to Uganda, you're going to see that. If Indians or Chinese or these other groups of people, when they come and set up businesses, they always put themselves first before any other person, before the owners of the country, be it Ugandans, Kenyans, or anyone else who is known from their country. So now the international airport of Kenya, to be in the hands of Indians, that means that they are going to be the ones in service. They're the ones that are going to take over everything. Before any Kenyan comes first, it's going to be an Indian first. Imagine the number of Indians that are going to be flocking in Kenya right now. Because, I mean, if the boss is Indian, of course, the way they love themselves, the way they support themselves, I can only imagine that it's going to be very, very easy for these people to come into the country. We are always complaining about how foreigners are treated better in African borders, African airports. Now, it's going to be like a cup of tea. Like, yeah, these guys are just going to come and enjoy, you know, Kenya as it is. Of course, when they come into Kenya, they are able to come into Uganda, like East Africa as well. So I'm expecting a lot of Indians now to be coming in East Africa and having them as a lot in East Africa. Because, I mean, if I'm also to put it right, Kenya is like the big brother of East Africa. Because, I mean, most of the things that happen in Kenya, like, affect what happens in other East African countries. Like in the previous video, I talked about the financial bill and how Kenyans went on streets. Guys, every Ugandan that was getting things from Kenya was in shambles. Like, transport was expensive. Bringing in exports and imports was really a hassle. There was a lot of chaos that was going on in Uganda just by Kenya being in that position, in that riot. And it is the reality. Like now, people are stranded on the airport. No one is going out, no one is going in. The doors are closed. Like, it's just so wild. Imagine you booked your flight and there's no flight, there's nothing going on, people on the streets. And I mean, I applaud Kenyans, because I mean, they don't take in this disrespect, because we need to reach a time as African people where if we see our leaders do things that don't really benefit us, we need to stand up. Kenya is showing how it has to be done. We are going to keep on crying every single day as African people by these leaders that we have, that only do things that better them, that do things without even caring about their citizens, because this is not something that was discussed in the public for people to know what is going on. It has to come out like in secret. Imagine, these leaders are actually wired, because they are doing deals where they're not even going to be around in the next, let's say, 30 years or 40 years, but they are able to do these deals like, oh yeah, we want to take care of the airport, like it's lacking, we need to come in and invest in, you know, and yeah, we could actually be good business partners. But like, are Kenyans going to be given any privilege in that place if that project of the country is handled by a group of people that don't even respect Kenyan people? Does it make sense? You're doing a deal of 30 years and maybe you'll not even be there in the next 30 years. What kind of a deal are you doing? So when I say we have selfish African leaders, I mean it with my soul. I mean it with my soul. And there's no one that is draining African people like African leaders. I really can't even put the blame or this blame on these investors that come into Africa, because at the end of the day, investors are there to make money. Rich people are there to make money. Everybody wants to make money. So if they see that you have a greedy leader and they just have to promise them something and show them paper, like I don't even know if African leaders read the things they sign, because why would you choose a foreigner over your own people? Like, make it make sense. I mean, also the fact that when they get sick, they have to go to like the Western countries to get medication and not even build infrastructures like hospitals, good education systems, like investing in their own countries in those kind of sectors. Why would we expect any better? It's just so wild that we are always put behind. We take one step in front as African people, and then our own leaders that are in power take us back like 30 years back, and it's just wild. It's ridiculous. We are not going to grow as a continent with these people in power, but I mean, how are we going to even work on it? But yeah guys, that is it for me in the video. Let me know what you think about this situation. Do you think Africa is ever going to grow with these people that we have in leadership? Do you think we as the people, as the mass, as the population, we are the problem? it makes you wonder, it makes you question yourself. That is it. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.